Well, Gary, this is all pretty familiar surrounding to you, I would imagine.
Yeah, very similar. Few little touches, but very similar to when I left, actually, yeah.
What about the magical memories then? You must have a few, Portsmouth Football Club. Does any one stand out?
The away game at Wigan when we stayed up was the real one that sticks in my mind first. I mean, there's so many here though. I mean, loads at Fratton. We had some fantastic times, and it's good to be back. I haven't got back anywhere near as much as I wanted to, so I'm really pleased to be here.
The one at Wigan, it seemed an impossible task just a few weeks before, didn't it? It was. They say about great escapes. That must be one of the greatest.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't remember exactly how far behind we were, but I know we were too far behind to even have a chance. I think there was 10 games left and we were 20 points or something. So it was like we didn't really have a chance, but we managed to turn it around and. As I say, 20 points from the last 10 games, and we even had a game to spare in the end. We got to relax here at home to Liverpool, which was nice. What
kickstarts something like that from you just keep getting defeated to can't get defeated?
Yeah, obviously Harry came back, didn't he, and made some good signings, which helped. And then we were 1-0 down here to Man City, I think, and Pedro scored two screamers with about 3 minutes left, and it just sort of snowballed from there. So. Sometimes, like you say, it takes something little like that. Hopefully, something happens today, and the lads can kick on again.
Was Harry one of the better managers you played for?
Yeah, at that time when we were at Portsmouth, and we had a really good squad, and he just kept bringing in good players. You know, that's the secret. He kept bringing in good players. His recruitment was really good, and we had a fantastic squad.
Because it all kick-started off for you at the start of this century, really, didn't it? That's when your professional career took off.
Yeah, January, wasn't it, 2000? I made my debut here when I was just 16. Doesn't seem that long ago, but obviously 19 years ago, nearly 20 years ago. So, I've enjoyed it, and I've always wanted to get back. So, as I say, delighted to be here.
You've played around a few clubs since, but by far the longest has been here, by far the most games here. Yep. Do you see this as your metaphorical home?
Yeah, definitely. When people ask what I mean, I was a Millwall fan growing up, but when I look for the results on a Saturday evening, it's always the Portsmouth one I look for first. It's just they gave me my chance, they helped develop me. I was here since I was 14 as well, so the lads working behind the scenes with me as a youth player, they're the ones that helped me to achieve what I wanted to achieve.
Who were the players around with you in the youth team, or as it was then?
Yeah, we had Rowan Vine was there, Lee Molyneux, Lewis Buxton and Sean Cooper were the year below. So there was some good players come through at that time, and Mark Wilson was a couple of years younger than me, I think, but you could tell that he was going to do well as well. So they had a real good youth academy then.
You always had a problem getting in consistently, didn't you? Yeah, but yet, then finally you became established.
It's difficult when you're young, you know, especially when the club were moving forward at such a rate. You know, Harry came in and I ended up competing with people like Steve Stone and Tim Sherwood and Andy Fay, Lassana Diarra. There was some fantastic midfielders here at the time, so it was never going to be easy as a 19-year-old, 18-year-old to break in. And I was happy to be learning from them. You get to work with some fantastic players every day in training, and happy just to take my chances when they came. And then, obviously, I had a couple of good years in the Premier League before I left, where I got sort of 8-9 goals, and so there were some real fond memories. I mean, too many to describe all in one interview.
Because you became a regular under Alain Perrin and Velimir Zajic, who weren't the most popular guys here.
No, it was a tough spell, that little spell. You know, the club tried to go in a different direction, didn't work out, and I was captain as well, so it was an extra responsibility. But thankfully, we managed to, as you say, drag ourselves through, and that year we stayed up, and I think the year after that we managed to finish 8th or 9th in the Premier League, which was a fantastic achievement. So there was some up and down times in there, but it's, when I look back on it, I only remember the fond ones.
Because we mentioned Wigan as a great escape. What about the final day against Barnsley as well? That was some escape as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was new to it then, obviously very young, managed to score my first goal. So that was huge because we were in real trouble. I think that the game before we played Palace here midweek and it went terribly wrong. So there was an awful lot riding on that Barnsley game. And you don't really realise at that age, you don't realise how much is actually on it because you're sort of young and it's new to you. So I was just playing it as another game. But when you look back, it was a huge turning point in the club's history.
Now you finished with Bolton. Tell us what you're doing now.
So I'm still trying to play. I've done all my coaching badges as well. So I'm open to manage in the future. I want to be a manager ideally. So starting my apprenticeship all over again as I did when I was a player. But I did okay last year at Bolton. Played like 30 odd games and thankfully got voted Fans Player of the Year. So I've still got a little bit of playing left in me. So I'm sort of just between the two at the minute, out watching as many games as I can, making notes, getting ready for the next stage.
How hard was it when you finally had to move on from here? Did you accept that was your fate?
No, it was tough. It was that we didn't really want to go. It was one of them things where it was sort of right for the club at the time, and so I ended up going. The family didn't want to go either, so it was a tough spell. And I always thought I'd end up coming back at some point. I mean, I haven't yet, but as I say, I'm going into coaching and stuff. So hopefully, one day I'll end up back where I started.
Well, you say you want to be a manager, high level.
Yeah, as high as I can get. So obviously, when I came through here as a kid, I never expected to play at such a high level. And similar with management and coaching, I'll have to start somewhere that gives me a chance, and might end up being in an academy somewhere or doing some under 23s or an assistant. But looking to build my way up and get as high as I can.
Because you played for some big clubs when you left here.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate at Middlesbrough. West Ham was a good spell. I had a nasty injury, but apart from that, I really enjoyed my time there. And then Norwich as well. Got a very unexpected year in the Premier League late on in my career, which was nice. So they're a very similar club to here, actually. Very sort of family orientated, good support. So Norwich reminded me a lot of being here.
If there were any blots, was it getting sent off in the playoff final at Wembley?
Yeah, for a little while, and then they ended up winning anyway, so it sort of cancelled it out. I've got loads of blots, but I try not to regret anything I did. I mean, I always tried to do the best I could and make the best decision I could at the time. Getting sent off in a playoff final, I wouldn't recommend to anybody, but thankfully Bobby Zamora saved me. So, I've managed to have 4 promotions to the Premier League from the Championship, so consider myself very, very fortunate.
And when you started off at a 16-year-old here, could you foresee all that was going to come your way?
No, not a chance. I can't believe when I actually think back, you get sort of swept away with it as you go along, and it becomes normal. But when I look back to where I was then and some of the places I've been between then and now, it's been an incredible journey.
Well, you've done very well, mate, and we hope to see you back in some other capacity.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.